Beautiful turnout. Hello, Noe Valley neighbors. I'm Leslie Crawford, and this is Paula Benton. 21 years ago, we started doing It's Good What You Don't Know. We didn't know that you can't start a farmer's market in 3 months, but that's what happened. And in December, it was a kale and potato market. But I approached neighborhood kind of legend, Peter Gabel, because he had helped save a neighborhood bookstore. And I would see him around the neighborhood with his gorgeous tow-haired, is that what they say, tow? That little boy over, where is he? Anyway, so I approached him and said, what do we do? Something's going on with his health food store up the street. Something's not right. They shut it down Labor Day weekend. So that's why we're doing it this weekend. And Peter was such a big deal, but I don't mean just like a big deal, like, you know, he was a big deal. He was, wrote a lot of books, a law professor, but I've never actually met anybody like Peter. He walked the walk. He looked you in the eye. He taught me so much. Yeah. Is there anything you want to say? He taught me how to be a better human being. Even when we were fighting the corporation, and people would be like, oh, those bastards. He said, no, these are full of people. And he always talked to every person with respect and dignity and looked them in the eye. And it's what I call a true bodhisattva, here to make life better. And that's what he did. And he did it so much. We put in, it's been kind of 3 years' work, so much help with our supervisor, who's now an even bigger deal, but we'll get there, president. Anyway, we're going to have a few speakers. The program today will have a few speakers, and then we're going to, this mob will go around front. We'll do our Wizard of Oz ribbon cutting, and drinks will be, non-alcoholic drinks will be passed out for a toast, so if you can wait to drink, and then we'll have cake from Noe Valley Bakery, and celebrate Peter, whose plaque is now in the sidewalk. Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to stop talking. Did you want to say anything, Paula? But Paula, it was Paula, me, Peter, and then a lot of other good neighbors who helped make this market happen. And then people like actually specifically Todd David and Chris Keene, who then helped make this into the town square it is today. And last bit, tonight there's going to be nice weather, a Parisian cafe here with lovely music and candlelight, so we'll continue the party in the spirit of Peter. Peter would have been here dancing. Okay. Exactly. All right, so now I'm going to pass the mic over to President, Supervisor Mandelman.
Extremely important. Well, hello, good morning, Noe Valley. Who here loves Peter Gabel? Like so many of the great things that have happened in this town square, from the farmers market to the square itself, the project of getting this plaque only happened because neighbors were willing to go through too much to make it happen. And I want to thank and credit Lisa Jakes, of course, Leslie Crawford, who makes so much magic happen in this town square. The folks at Public Works, who I understand did an amazing job on Thursday, was it? Or Wednesday? And throughout the week. But it took, I think, 2 years, 2.5 years to get this done. I was looking back. I did the resolution authorizing this back in like March of last year. So it's like these things take a long time. They're hard, and Lisa and Leslie and others who are working on this got it done. and Calvin Ho in my lot, and Adam Tongsavat, and Bradley Phelps, and a long line of legislative aides. Yeah, so lots happened. I can't think of anyone who deserves this plaque more than Peter Gabel in this neighborhood. For as long as I, have known about Noe Valley or been part of Noe Valley, there's a strain in this neighborhood that is deeply and powerfully and completely committed to social and economic justice. And I remember, 25 years ago, as I was first starting to pay attention to San Francisco politics, I think Peter and a motley crew of other folks had started Noe Valleyans for community and social justice, and they met maybe at the ministry and just plotted how to make Noe Valley a hotbed of civic activism, which in many ways it was. And whether, Peter was part of conversations and struggles that were international and national, but at the neighborhood level, if you were a representative of this neighborhood, you would benefit from getting frequent calls from Peter Gabel with ideas or problems or things that the neighborhood could be part of solving. And he wanted to bring people together. He wanted to have Noe Valley connected to the mission, connected to the Bayview, that we're all part of one city. And that was his, beautiful, beautiful vision. And Peter was just an extraordinary person. Young, pretty left of center Raphael Mandelman running for supervisor in 2010 against Scott Wiener benefited from having Peter Gabel's social and economic justice commitments supporting me. But when I was then elected to the community college board, he and Lisa, as soon as it was clear that City College was under threat, they were calling me constantly. They were working all of their connections and getting me connected to Nancy Pelosi's office. And I remember meetings that we had with Pelosi herself to save City College. So, you could go through a list of and we did save City College, and City College is free for San Franciscans. And I was just at an opening for a new student success building out there. And so that's another part of Peter's legacy. And I could just go on and on and on about all the ways that Peter has made the world better and our little chunk of the world better. But Peter deserves this plaque, and it's an honor to be here. And it's an honor to have helped out in my small way. And I think, do I get to introduce Roberta Achtenberg, former supervisor? Was it Jesse Helms who called you a damn lesbian when you were up for nomination to be a deputy secretary at HUD? And it's a tremendous honor to follow in Roberta Achtenberg's footsteps on the Board of Supervisors. And give it up for glass ceiling shatterer and your neighbor, Roberta Achtenberg.
Isn't he darling? I didn't always think the world of him, but I was persuaded by Peter Gabel, and he wasn't wrong. Anyhow, it's good to be here among our neighbors. I knew and loved Peter Gabel for 50 years. I see you, Aura. We were dear friends, I'd like to think. We fought together so many great struggles. We were friends and comrades, and we genuinely liked each other. And Peter's genuine self always came through in every one of his interactions. He was one of the few people who was active in politics and completely positive and personable and hopeful and not naive, but always insisting on what was right and good for people. I had never met and have not met anyone since quite like him. We were neighbors, and in fact, I like to think I'm responsible for him being a Noe Valley neighbor, because he and I owned a house over on Jersey Street some 50 years ago. So that started his neighborhood saga. But perhaps more importantly for your information, I'd like to refer to Peter's New College years, because they were so radical and so impactful and so loving and so institution building that his accomplishments through New College and all of the people whose lives were touched, and there are many, many thousands, a few of them sitting right here and standing in the audience. Peter's politics were amazing. He didn't just think great thoughts, although he did. He didn't just write great missives, although he did. He wasn't just a great teacher, although he was, and is to this day. I can't think of a time I don't think about Peter, and particularly in difficult times like we're in right now. I think about Peter and what I could learn from what we struggled through, and the questions I still have that somehow I wish he could help me answer. To Lisa and Sam, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I miss Peter very, very much. And his legacy lives on in everything positive that all of his neighbors do.
Hi, you guys. I'm Lisa. Whoops, can you hear me? Okay. I've told everybody we only have 2 minutes each, but I might break that rule, which is my right as the organizer. I want to start out by thanking the people and the organizations who made the plaque a reality. Hey, Anand. I like to see all this union representation in here. Let's hear it. Woo! Yeah! All right. I have a list. It will take 5 minutes to read everybody. But I just want to say first, before we talk about people who helped make the plaque reality, I have yet to have an opportunity to thank publicly Peter's and my friends and neighbors, who were standing over here a minute ago, Jorge and Maria Luz. ¿Dónde? Okay. Oh, there you are. When Peter passed, they added him to their Dia de los Muertos altar and invited me for years to go and accept their kindness and generosity and hear each other's memories of Peter, and it was extremely helpful. Because it'll hold me still. Okay, I don't usually use a mic because I'm on a bullhorn, but so let me just take a crack at this. The friends, neighbors, vendors, and customers of this market gave and gave and gave when we started a fundraiser for this project. And we got to about 12 grand, I think. And I thought, oh God, I don't want to go back to them and ask for more money. I'm going to ask the New College Law School alums. Boom. And they came through, all of them Peter's students. And they got us to 15 grand, and that's why we could do this project. Then the Foundry, Artwork Foundry in Berkeley, everybody remember it because there are going to be a lot of plaques in the sidewalks going forward. They're the ones. They did a great job. The image itself was created by a friend of Peter's named Cynthia Travis, who worked very hard on it and who died almost 3 months ago and couldn't be here today. It was really a bummer. The photograph in the image was done by Peter's friend, student, and roommate, Kathy Gutierrez, who's videoing. Oh, hi. Yeah. So those are just a few of the people who helped make this happen, and I will absolutely forget people, so forgive me in ahead of time. So couldn't do it without Raphael. He said, yes, we'll get an ordinance passed and waive the fee, and it was awesome. And I wish the rest of the process was that easy. And I want to say, every person who worked on it in City Hall was terrific. It's just a complicated process, but the people who execute it are fantastic. Just want you to know that. Calvin Ho in his office held my hand. I would like freak out and become paralyzed and call me, where am I? What stage am I at, Calvin? He'd remind me where I was and how to push through. Vince Courtney, a leader of the Laborers Union number, tell me you guys who are out in the crowd, and his members, 261, I think. He got us a meeting with Carla Short, the head of the DPW. We sat down and made a plan because we knew that Peter would want union folks to put this plaque in the ground. And we knew the city had union folks, so we asked Vince to get us a meeting with Carla Short, who was very supportive and helpful, and agreed to make sure that union members and apprentices from the community who are training while on the job and learning this extremely valuable skills in DPW, who were union members, were a part of this. She promised they would be a part of this installation. I just want to make sure. Paris in the Arts Commission and Ian in the Department of Public Works. You guys, when you could do your plaque, get them to help you. The Farmers Market and the Arlene Francis Foundation sponsored this, or we couldn't have done it. We need. You gotta have a nonprofit who fits the eligibility requirements for a fiscal sponsor, and you have to have somebody be willing to buy insurance to cover you while the plaque is being transitioned to the property of the city, because somebody may, either trip on it or tag it or something, and so that's just a warning, guys. Okay. Chuck Blosey, I almost called him by his wife's last name because I figured he would take her name. But Chuck Blosey, husband of Courtney Broadus, saved me because they said, now when you do the architectural drawing, which we'd already tried 4 times, Leslie tried, and we thought it was good and we put it in, they said, no, it has to be AutoCAD. I said, what? So apparently a lot of people, maybe you guys know what AutoCAD is, but we didn't. And we found Chuck and said, please, could you do whatever this thing is? And he did. And they, Chuck, woo, over there. And as a result, we got the drawings right, and it went through, it was accepted by DPW. Sandra Schubert, where are you? Okay, this woman saved our behinds also. She made those gorgeous posters that you see all over of Peter in the mural. That's my cousin. Family union. Okay. And Regina Faustine, Ridley. Regina is a farmer's market person who saw me flailing near the end, and I was choking on the 8 ball, and she grabbed my hand and pulled me across the finish line, so we wouldn't have that without her. But most of all, I have to thank Leslie, because she ran this thing, and I entrusted her with this because I knew that Peter and she loved each other, and that she would have the right sensibility and judgment on the whole process and keep him in mind the whole time she did it, whenever we came up with moral quandaries or, etc. As a result, she became my friend, which I am so grateful for. So, those are the people who did this. I know someone else did, and I'm sorry if I forgot. Martha's brothers. Oh my God, they kept us all jacked up. So, who am I forgetting, Samuel? No, that's my That's the final one. You know, Noe Valley Bakery contributed the awesome cake you get to eat. Did you guys know that after I finish talking, whatever that's going to be, you're going to walk to the sidewalk, and while walking, you'll see a table with juice that people are going to be handing you, which you cannot drink until the toast. And there will be food which you cannot take until after the toast. Let me tell you about the people from DPW, whose names and unions I wrote down somewhere. Okay, here we go. Selena Mickelson. Selena, are you out there? DPW people, we're recognizing you. If you could come to the back, please do. All right, Selena from SEIU Local 21. She led the whole project. She made it happen. There were a million bumps in the road. She got us over them. And then we have 2 master cement masons from local, hold on. 300. And that is my child keeps prepping me. JT, as in just terrific, Ford, and Leroy Curley. They were assisted by a brother from the Teamsters. His name is Art Budd. It's from Teamsters Local 853. And the 2 members of the Laborers Union, who definitely do the hard work, are Jerry Lynn, and I don't remember Jerry Lynn, your last name right now, sorry. Hi, Aaron Peskin. Jerry Lynn, Local 261 Laborers Union. And Solomon Guillory, Local 261 Laborers Union. And just to reiterate, a representative of their union is who made this get through DPW. So shout out to Vince Courtney and the laborers, and thank you all so much. Did I do everything? Okay. So now I'm going to try to say something about Peter. I wrote a bunch of different things, and none of them made sense, so I have to make it up now. But I wanted to try to touch on one of the things I most appreciated about him, which is he had what appeared to be very complex ideas, and I was not clear on them. And then he started a public speaking about them, and you're sitting there going, you're getting mesmerized, and it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I knew that already. That's not new. Why didn't you just say that before? And all of a sudden you get what he's talking about, and what he's talking about is that we can do anything. We can do anything. We can save a bookstore. We can fight a union-busting health food store. We can create a beautiful farmer's market, and we can use the same skills to organize to end a dictatorship and to build the world we want. So whenever you walk by the plaque, just remember his optimism and that it's possible. Anything is possible. Thanks, you guys.
I know. You know that. Thank you. All right, look at that. All right, Mom, we're cutting.
All right.
A toast to my dad. May we recognize one another in his honor. Long live Peter Gabel.